seems 2026 is the year of, oh, you think your favorite safe? Because I wouldn't. Donnie McClurkin, we fall down, but we get up. After you done all you can, you just stand. Donnie McClurkin, that one. He has been accused of essaying a young man.
There wouldn't be a Jackie Hill Perry without a Donnie McClurkin. There wouldn't be a Raven Hartwell without a Donnie McClurkin. Raven Hartwell, who'll be playing on y'all Wi-Fi, playing on y'all internet as if her coochie don't spasm every time a bad bitch with a middle part bust down in Lululemon walk by. And that is why I'm finding it really hard to offer a measured perspective around this whole Donnie McClurkin situation, because he gave legitimacy to an ideology or rhetoric that is still harming young gay Black men, young queer folk across the country still to this day.
Now what now? Don't tell me that Donnie McClurkin is getting called out for essaying men after years of claiming that he's been delivered from homosexuality. Child, Donnie basically built his ministry on being delivered from homosexuality and helping others achieve the same. But it turns out this whole time, if the allegations are in fact true, that it was nothing more than a front, because now there's a lawsuit calling him out. And also mentioning other struggling gay men who are now talking about how he allegedly lured them and groomed them to be with him while securing their silence, all in the name of God. Now, I know you can't really trust public figures these days, but coming from Donnie McClurkin, Pastor Donnie, this is just mind-boggling. And I'm not sure that I'm convinced. I'm merely reporting what the people are talking about out here in these streets.
I think this is going to be called, on my second revelation of my vacation, this is called the hurt I've caused. The hurt I've caused.
Out of all the gospel folks, Donnie McClurkin seemed like he was one of the few that was really about the lifestyle he was preaching. With his anointed voice and convicting and relatable sermons, especially with how honest he's been about his struggles with homosexuality and how he had to dig deep and rely on his faith in God's word to keep him standing. Something about that honesty and openness drew people to him to the point that he was able to open up a church of his own, Perfecting Faith Church. Now, this is important because the whole mission of his ministry was saving sinners and radically changing lives through God's word. But with this lawsuit that just dropped, it looks like this whole time Pastor Donnie was the one who was still in need of deliverance. Donnie McClurkin's passion and niche has been about providing a path for those struggling with homosexuality and wanting to be saved and restored, aligned with God's will. But from the looks of this lawsuit and in the court of public opinion, his honesty was more like a cover-up because he was still struggling with his sexuality more than what he led other people to believe. The lawsuit was filed by Giuseppe Carletto, who alleged that in 2003 he was 21 years old at the time, and he went to Donnie's church in Long Island, New York to seek him out. Carletto was trying to reconcile his sexuality with his faith and struggled every step of the way. So when he read Donnie McClurkin's book, Eternal Victim, Eternal Victor, when he talked about how God helped him to overcome his homosexuality, Carletto believed that Donnie had the answers and could provide spiritual guidance. He said he went there seeking spiritual mentorship, only to find out that Donnie allegedly had some other plans all along. The first time Carletto met Donnie after a church service, they prayed together and Donnie assured him that he would be delivered from homosexuality. But shortly after that meeting, one of Donnie's ministers confessed to Carletto that he was too struggling with the same issue. This minister kept contacting him repeatedly and trying to initiate intimacy with Carletto, and things got so bad that the minister came to his house basically demanding that he give up the goods. That situation alone could be devastating to someone seriously struggling with their convictions. Carletto was just about to pack it up when he got a call from Donnie himself. Donnie apologized to him and said that that minister was going to be removed and that he would never have to see or speak with him again. And this is where the alleged manipulation began to creep in. Donnie claimed that what the minister did was a test from God and he had passed. So Carletto decided to stay and give the church another shot. From there, he and Donnie got closer and they developed a mentor-mentee relationship. When Donnie offered him the position of personal assistant, he accepted. During Carletto's time as Donnie's assistant, they were always having Pray the Gay Away sessions. And while everyone was closing their eyes in deep prayer, this was when, according to the lawsuit, Pastor Donnie would come closer to Carletto and allegedly touch touch him inappropriately around his private area. According to Carletto, he would open his eyes and see that everyone, including Donnie, still appeared to be engaged in the prayer, as if nothing unusual was occurring. So he struggled to process what was going on and whether it qualified as SA because he wanted to believe that Donnie was helping him. Carletto also alleged that Donnie would put him in situations where he would be alone with other men, framing it as tests from God, and if nothing inappropriate occurred, Donnie would reassure Carletto that he was just making progress. But based on the lawsuit in 2007, Donnie got bold and stopped bothering to use male liaisons and approached Carletto himself. According to Carletto, while they were traveling to California one time on a business trip, Donnie called Carletto into his room. When he arrived, Donnie allegedly requested that he remove his shoes for him, and Carletto obliged. Then the allegations get increasingly more uncomfortable. They also claim that Donnie exposed himself to Carletto and assertively directed him to the bed, after which Carletto insisted that he had been touched by Donnie. Carletto recounts that he begged him to stop, but Donnie kept going until the deed was done. But apparently Donnie's explanation of the alleged encounter included him rationalizing that the medication that he was on may have significantly altered his mental capacity and decision-making. Thus, he wasn't aware of what was going on. He also allegedly criticized Carletto for not removing himself from the situation once he understood the direction that it was going. And that's how things continued to spiral out of control. Carletto was dealing with a lot of shame, guilt, and confusion, and ultimately decided not to talk about it anymore. But he also claims that after that initial encounter, Donnie repeatedly coerced him into intimacy for upwards of 6 years.
You hire somebody and they're working directly for you. You are their boss, and you enter into any type of relationship with them that is not business in nature. You open yourself up for a lawsuit. They can sue you. They can say you took advantage of them. They can say, I only did it because this was my boss and I was scared. So it doesn't really matter whether or not y'all think it's consensual, that man is going to get paid.
According to Carletto, whenever he would have feelings of conviction that would ultimately lead to tears, especially publicly, Donnie would somehow turn it into a teachable moment and say that people needed to learn to express emotions. The lawsuit also states that occasionally Donnie would put Carletto in situations where they would be on business trips and have to share only one room, in which the activity that went on was allegedly less than holy. And for those of you thinking, why didn't he just quit if he didn't like it? Carletto said that he did try to quit a few times, but every time he thought that he was going to release himself, Donnie would deny his request and tell him that there was no way that he could get delivered and find any purpose in his life unless he stayed with him. Allegedly, Donnie would say that the two of them were like Elijah and Elisha, and to find his direction, Carletto needed him. And child, listen, if any of this is true, it's awful, because none of that sort of mentorship honors God's word or will. But there was only so much that Carletto could take before he decided that enough was enough. He secured another job opportunity and told Donnie about it and left. Donnie allegedly tried to get in contact with him, and because Carletto had already trauma bonded with him, there were a few times that he would slip up and Donnie crept back into his life. But in 2013, Carletto fully decided that he wasn't down with any type of deliverance Donnie had preached, and that there was nothing that Donnie could offer him any longer. He flat out refused his advances. Later that year, Donnie sent him an email apologizing, and it said, "I'm the actual epitome of a desperate, dirty old man, pawning and groping a young man who is just looking for friendship and close platonic relationship with someone he looks up to for help, guidance, and spirituality. I was trying to go to a realm of sexuality that wasn't right and wasn't right for you. I am old enough to be your father and want to be something else to you. You don't have that desire for me, and I shouldn't have it for you. I have forced myself on you, groping you, and when I think about it, you never really touched me like that at all. I am really embarrassed at how I am and how I act." Child.
God don't do nothing else in 2026. I want him to free his people from the shackles of committing crimes and then sending emails.
Now, with the evidence and the email, people are struggling to decide whether they believe that all, some, or none of what's being alleged about Pastor Donnie is true. And of course, he maintains that all of the allegations are false.
For truth, which you have not heard. You have not heard the truth, but you will. But I just didn't want to go any longer without addressing it. I've remained silent while this campaign, this media campaign was launched. I've remained silent because the Bible tells you to be slow to speak. Slow to speak, quick to hear, and slow to anger.
Donnie didn't flat out deny that nothing sexual happened between them, but he did say that he did not SAM. So that could leave room for people to believe that something happened and that maybe it was just consensual. And then there are folks who are not surprised that this is coming out about Donnie at all. It's an unfortunate situation, especially if it actually occurred under the guise of someone truly seeking help and steps to deliverance from something that they genuinely feel convicted about. And the fact that this allegedly happened under Donnie's watch may confirm that Donnie couldn't actually pray his gay away, so that probably isn't the ministry that he should be leading.
Look, Stink, the email said I did it. I know I did it. I knew what I was doing was wrong when I was doing it. I shouldn't have did it. I thought about doing it. Then I did it again, did it in another state. You tried to get away, and I did it some more. Then you ran one more time, and then I did it again. I told you Do we need a court case? It's saying right there. He did it.
And now that there have been talks on the internet with several other men also claiming to have been touched by Donnie as part of a test for praying the gay away, it is being reported that more men will soon be filing their own lawsuits exposing him and that unfortunate sham ministry. I'm not surprised at all. My bestie's son used to drive limos. He picked up Donnie years ago and said that Donnie was highly inappropriate. If you're not from the church, you wouldn't know that there have been rumors about him for years. Donnie McClurkin using the pray the gay away trope to be abusive to impressionable men isn't shocking, but it is very disappointing due to the harm caused. But what I want to know is, are y'all surprised to hear about any of this? Sound off in the comments and make sure you hit that like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, baddies.